Hey guys, welcome back to the channel where I share videos about sewing, pattern drafting and everything fashion. On today's tutorial, I'm going to be sharing with you guys how to sew this simple, beautiful short gown with Ankara patch. If this is the kind of video you feel like watching, please stay tuned, subscribe and turn on your notification bell for more videos like this. Let's begin. So now as you can see, I have my crepe fabric here and I have my Ankara fabric as well. I'm going to make use of 2 yards from the crepe and a little bit from the Ankara fabric. Now I have this little fringes here. I don't know what to call it. I don't know what it's called. So I have 5 pieces. I'm going to use that to attach to the dress as time goes on. So now the first thing I did was to rule a starting line at the top of the fabric like this. I folded my fabric, so I'm just going to measure the wideness I'm going to fold it with. So now I'm using the hip circumference for the client, and after getting the fold, I went ahead to measure the shoulder line and the neck measurement as well. So for the neck depth, I'm making use of 4 inches, and for the neck width, I made use of 4 inches as well. So from that point, I'm just going to extend the length of the sleeve. Okay, I'm moving forward by extra 8 inches to get the length of my sleeve, making it 16 inches in total for the sleeve length. Now I went ahead to mark 8 inches like this from that point, and I connected this as well. And afterwards, I went ahead to place my measurement like this at the bust point, and then marked the half of the bust circumference, including 1.5 inch for the ease and 1 inch for the joining allowance. So I'll go ahead and just curve it this way, after which I'm just going to extend it downwards to the length like this. So extending this line all this way just to give it the A shape, you're going to make use of your hip circumference. Okay, so for the hip, I'll place my tape rule this way and get the shoulder to the hip measurement, and then mark what I have there. I'm just going to use that as a guide to rule a line across, just as you see me doing, and after which I'm just going to take the measurement for the hip circumference. So quarter of the hip circumference for my client is 11 inches. I'm going to add like 1.5 inch for the ease and 1 inch for the sewing allowance, just like I did for the bust circumference. And after which I'm just going to drag it up a little bit and then measure the length of the dress. To get the length of your dress, go ahead and place your tape rule from the shoulder points like this and just extend it downwards to the length you want your dress to stop at. For my client, it's 40 inches, and I'm going to add sewing allowance of 1.5 inch for the hemming. Okay, and after which I'll go ahead and connect the rest of the A shape, just like you see me doing. So guys, after I was done marking the A-shape line, I went ahead to include the pocket by measuring 6 inches from the armhole, just like this, and I'm just going to start from that 6 inches mark and mark 7 inches for the pocket opening. After I was done with that, the next thing I went ahead to do is to adjust the neckline. So initially I measured 5 inches. I'm just going to take away 1 inch and make it 4 inches. Okay, so I don't want it to be too deep, as we are going to be having a slit there. So now I'll go ahead and cut out everything and use this front piece to cut out the back. At the lower part of the dress, I'm going to raise it up at the side by 1.5 inch or 1 inch so that it wouldn't just be so pointy, and then I'll give a little space for the hemming allowance just like this, and then cut out everything. Now after I was done cutting, the next thing I'm going to do is to fold my fabric again and then use it to cut out the back. I'm also going to notch this part where I marked the pocket, so I'm going to use it as a guide when stitching my pockets together. So guys, before cutting the back, after placing my front piece, the back piece is a little different from the front because of the neckline at the back. So I went down by 2 inches space for the back and then connected it just like you see me doing. So after I was done cutting, I went ahead to remove the pins which I used to secure it in place to prevent it from moving about. Now I'm going to set the back piece aside and start working on the front. This is what I had after I was done cutting and opening it up. So the first thing I'm going to do now is just to mark a straight line here just to get the midpoint. Okay, so go ahead and turn it on the wrong side and fold it once again to get the midpoint. Make sure you fold it in the correct way. So the next thing I did was to place my tape rule this way and then measured 4 inches. I'm going to be marking the slits to be 4 inches deep. Okay, so the need for the slits is because there is no zipper at the back. This will allow our hair to pass through when putting it on. So the next thing I'm going to do now is just to pin it in place with another fabric and cut out the facing for the back and front. Now I'll go ahead and pin the facing at the midpoint like this where I notch them. Make sure that it's aligning with the main fabric. Okay, and afterwards I'll go ahead and draw a straight line from that 4 inches mark all the way to the tip of the neckline like this. Then the next thing I did was to fold it into 2 equal halves like this, and then I went ahead to measure the amount of space I want to have for the slit, okay, and then I marked about half of an inch. It's not really up to half of an inch, and then connected the line just the way you see me doing. This is how it looks like. I'm also going to place the back facing right side to right side with the back facing, okay, and then stitch it by half of an inch as well, and then set that aside. Because we are going to be pairing up the front with the Ankara piece of fabric, next thing I did was to cut out exactly the same neckline we have on the dress on the Ankara, and then what I did was just to align it this way. Make sure you attach your stay to give it some strength, and after attaching it with the right side like this, go ahead and place your facing right side to right side facing each other with the Ankara fabric, and then look for the notch points in which they meet at the middle. After getting the notch points, go ahead and pin it for it to stay secured, and then make sure that everything is staying flat, okay? And what you need to do now first of all is to go ahead and then stitch it on the neckline all the way like this, then downwards to this point, followed by the other side to the other end of the neckline. And when you are stitching this, please go ahead and make sure that you pin it in place before stitching, okay, so that it doesn't move about. And then afterwards, what you need to do now is to fold in on the sides by half of an inch all around, just the way you see me pointing. So I'll head over to the sewing machine and stitch the neckline. This is what I had after stitching the neckline. You can see how beautiful it is. I've also gone ahead to use my hemming gum to iron it on the slit so that it stays flat. Don't forget to top stitch as well. Now I've folded the edges of the Ankara piece and I pinned them in place with my pins, and this is how the back looks like after I was done stitching everything together with the facing. Okay, now I'm just going to place it back like this, and then I will go ahead and fix the little designs I kept for the dress. Just in case you're curious, this Ankara piece here, this Ankara patch is 16 inches wide and 14 inches long. So I'll go ahead and just position these little designs here. I don't know what they call it, and just like this is where I'm just going to be fixing everything one after the other. So I have 5 pieces in number, and it's going to look like this after I was done stitching. Now I'll head over to the sewing machine and stitch it just like this from this part all around. I'll take my stitches all the way down here, and then I'll rotate it and then finish it off by stopping at the other edge. Now this is what I had after I was done stitching everything in place. The next thing I'm going to do now is to bring the back piece. I'm going to align it with the right sides facing each other, and then I'll open the shoulders like this. Okay, just go ahead and open the shoulders and the facing together like this at like one piece, and stitch it by half of an inch, and also repeat the same thing on the other side as well. So guys, this is what I had after I was done stitching. You can see how beautiful the shoulder lines look like. This is all looking like one piece, and this is the neckline as well. And next thing I'm going to do is to weave this part all around. Okay, take it to the weaving machine and make sure you weave it. And then for the sleeve, I'm going to turn it with a bias inwards like this, and also repeat the same thing on the other sleeve. And after which I am going to align them right side to right side facing each other and stitch it by the 1 inch sewing allowance we gave initially. So now I've attached my pocket and I stitch everything together. I have a video on how to attach pockets to your dress, and this is how everything looks like. This is how the dress came out looking like. Okay, you can see the neckline looking beautiful, and I've stitched the sleeve as well. I also hemmed the lower part, and what I did next was just to iron it out to straighten out any wrinkles. This is the sneak peek of the dress. This is how it looks like. So this dress is a must-have for me. I don't know about you, but I would like to make the red one for myself. So do well to tell me the colors you'd like to combine yours with. And with that being said, that is all for this video, guys. If you love this video, kindly hit the subscribe button and also turn on your notification bell. Don't forget to like and share. For more videos like this, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.